but describe your experience living in Antarctica.
Let's go there. Okay, well, as as I told you, I've been there 4 times. Each time I was spent like 3 months, more or less, like well 3 4 months every time. Well, I reached there by plane and also in big ships and one Argentinian icebreakers. There's some big icebergs there where you are sailing. From Argentina, you can reach by plane. We have a stop we get from Buenos Aires. We use the Argentina Antarctic program. The logistics are provided by the forces, national forces. So I flew in these planes, the Hercules. I don't know if have you heard of them.
Well, it looks like because I watched some of your video that you made, and it's like you're in these like military looking planes.
That's true.
The things you see in like movies where they like jump out of the back of a plane.
Those
like,
ones.
Yeah.
Those ones. And we are like sitting there as those militaries. And there's a lot of military crew that helps us there, which goes and provide logistics for the science. And I flew by plane. There's one stop in Rio Gallegos that is in southern Argentina. And from there we fly to Antarctica. I've been 3 times in the Argentinian station, which is called Carlini. Okay. It's at the South Shetland Islands, on a special island which is called King George Island, and we call it Isla 25 de Mayo. Particularly at that island, there are several stations. There are a Chilean station, a Russian station. There's a Chinese station.
There.
Precisely there.
Yeah.
That's the South Shetland Islands. And well, as part of living there, well, my first time I sailed there. I was 10 days in a boat, in a Russian boat that helped us and gave us a lift in a way. And we reached there, of course, we crossed the Drake Passage. The Drake Passage is one of the most dangerous ways, or one of the most dangerous seas in the world, because it's a circumpolar. There's a circumpolar currents where there's no land that can stop it, and well, several ships cross them, and well, it moves a lot.
Yeah,
I felt dizzy some days, but well, I reached Antarctica, and that was the only thing I wanted in my mind. And when I reached there, our experience was awesome. I imagine one day in my life there, it's like we get up really early. I mean, we get up, and if the weather is good, I mean, there's a lot of wind. You can imagine. If there's no wind, we go out fishing. I fish. I'm a fisherman in Antarctica, so we went out fishing. We go out fishing. For more or less 3, 4, 5 hours. We get dressed in some special suits, that are,
these suits are always orange, it seems like.
Yeah.
Are these the ones you're talking about?
Those ones. I mean,
is that so you don't get lost? Everybody can see you.
True. Yes, it's a good color for when you went out missing.
Yeah.
Yes, these special suits were designed for polar environments, and so we go out fishing. We deploy trammel nets. Trammel nets are fishing. Our fishing gear is especially trammel nets that go.
So, is this fishing to eat, or is it like research?
No. Especially every fishing we perform there particularly is for research.
Okay.
The area where the station is, so the South Shetland Islands, commercial fisheries have been banned in the 1991.
Okay.
Because with data our group provided. There, Antarctica is interesting in terms of if political or geopolitical issues, because the only things that rules Antarctica is the Antarctic Treaty. The Antarctic Treaty was formulated in 1959 and started working on in 1960. And the most important aspect of this treaty, it was created when you can imagine Cold War in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Past this, when Second World War finished, all countries wanted to prevent the Southern Hemisphere from wars and this type of movements. And well, this Antarctic Treaty says that Antarctica is a continent of peace and research, where no war is allowed. And in a way, it's an international treaty that promotes peace and performing research. So there are some countries that have claimed rights from some territories. Argentina is one of those, Chile, Great Britain, and well, there are several others. But you're mandatory have to perform research. You have to research, and in a way, there are some resources. There are, of course, fish, the commercial resources that are allowed to explode are fish and krill. The krill, I know if you heard about it, it's a small invertebrate, which is
what whales eat.
Yeah, whales eat and fishes as well. And but in Antarctica, it's really important because it's like the base of the food web. It's a key species in the Antarctic trophic web. So what's interesting also is that all these regulations of where to fish and where not to fish are regulated by a commission that is the Commission for the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, where I personally and all my group provide data to allow a correct management of the resources. And currently we are proposing, along with Chile, Argentina is proposing along with Chile, a big marine protected area on the West Antarctic Peninsula. There has been one Antarctic marine protected area which was accepted some years ago in the Ross Sea, but nowadays we are working to protect this. So coming back to your first observations is that we are fishing in areas where fishing is not allowed, but as we are fishing for a scientific purpose, we receive a special permit to do so.
Okay.
So yeah, in a way, we live there. We go out fishing during mornings. We came back at midday to our lab. There's stations are arranged with buildings, like the containers, the ones that ship to travel, that ship uses to transport goods. Containers that are arranged inside for different facilities. You have kitchens, you have living rooms, you have rooms to sleep, you have laboratories, you also have like a hospital, and well, there are cookers. So we do not cook. We came back from work and we have a delicious meal there waiting for us, and then we go back to our laboratory. So I mean, we work a really lot. We are like all the day trying to work. It's really expensive for Argentina to take us there, so we need to take proof of it, take advantage of it, and we work. And I personally, I have through all my PhD discovered that inshore areas, areas that are down to 100, 120 meter depth, are serving as spawning grounds for Antarctic fishes. And this is really important when we study fish biology, because one of the most effective management and conservation ways, I mean, one of the most effective ways to preserve a fish population is to protect the spawning grounds where they are reproducing, you know, because if you fish actually where they are reproducing, the impact you have on fish population is greater. So I'm really anxious, I'm really excited on our project, on trying to create marine protected areas to preserve the resources. There were over-exploitation in the 70s, so that's why some fin fishings are prohibited. And yeah, well, that's why I love what I am doing, and also the experience of going into Antarctica. And I know sometimes we are fishing there, and you are like, well, your mind is in your work, and which fish is going to come out, and you turn around and you have a humpback whale showing his tail or its tail, and you're like, what? Come on, that's my work, you know. It's like living every day in a continuous changing environment, so pristine in a way, and being open to surprises like that. And when you realize that some people pay to reach there, well, tourists pay, and well, that's my work, and I'm all the day there. It's like, come on. That's right. I'm on the right, and I'm on the right direction.